Today's episode is brought to you by number 15, Burger King Foot Lettuce. The last thing you'd want on your Burger King burger is somebody's foot fungus.
The lesser banishing ritual of the Pentagram. Malkuth Vagabura Vagadula La'olam Amen.
You know, when I had that squatter house, I would often do wizard. I would laugh like a sorcerer into the night, just randomly.
To
like
summon clouds, you have to kind of do a
I would
laugh.
sit at my hearth and just
You have to do a laugh
watch
to
the
summon
flames.
clouds. I thought we all
and-
knew that.
And I would just laugh into the night like a madman, just out of just pure disbelief that I could have generated such an amazing,
That house was
That house
awesome.
was awesome.
Scheme?
Yeah, that was more than a scheme. It was a home.
Was it a caper?
It was in like a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's in your neighborhood, but
Same neighborhood, but yeah, it was
just so the listeners know.
Yeah, it was a
The
three-bedroom.
scheme.
It was a three-bedroom,
Scam.
two-bath California ranch style house with a in-ground swimming pool and a sunken living room. It was nice.
I've been watching this this documentary. Speaking of cults and cult leaders, I've been watching this documentary called Wild Wild Country about Rajneesh.
Oh, I started watching that the other night and I had to go somewhere,
Rajneesh,
so I had to
who's
turn it
that?
off. But
I like his name. What's
I
his
wanna-
deal? Yeah.
he looks just like he looks just like
He does look like another guru.
Osho.
Oh, he is Osho.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Osho?
That is
okay,
Osho.
so
I don't
I'm
know of
definitely
any of
gonna
these
be. I know what
people.
I'm gonna be watching tonight.
So I read a book by Osho once.
Yeah.
do you feel enlightened now?
It was called The Happiness, the something that came from within.
Yeah.
Something like that. It felt like the kind of book that someone would like buy like before a plane trip because they were feeling anxious about like whatever, like, oh, I gotta go see my family and I don't wanna deal with this family thing that I gotta fly and I hate flying anyway and my mom and dad are gonna judge me. Like some really
Osho's like a really good
but
quote
anyway,
master.
like I feel like that book was geared to this person specifically getting on a plane. And then, like, they knock the book out on the plane, and they're like, oh, wow, I was so enthralled in this book while on my flight. And then they get off the plane, and they're like, oh, man, I feel so, now that my feet
Yeah.
are back on the earth, I feel so enlightened and so in control
well,
of
Adam,
the
what do you
situation.
think about it now that you're learning the truth about him, but without spoilers?
I knew there was something fishy about Osho, even though everybody
Yeah,
that I knew in the Bay Area was like kind of like, oh yeah, that knew about him, didn't know about the sordid details of his life. But it's just
I
it makes me
feel
want
like
to start
I
a
kinda-
cult as always.
I kind of saw through his crap. Like, oh, this is just for some airport anxious dude to read and feel like he got his, like, well, I sure didn't get anything out of that trip. Oh, maybe this book will help.
Well, what's funny is Osho didn't talk about, like, for a lot of his later career, like when he was in America, he just stopped talking. He would just show up and he just does this thing where he just kind of like, yes, and like kind of like does the raising up the roof hands barely
Oh, wow.
at
Like, he does,
at
like, golf
waist
raise.
length.
Does golf raise the roof?
Yeah, he does golf
Yeah.
raise the roof
That's
on
like a golf
stage.
clap.
Does Osho do the OSHA circuit?
Does he make sure that your work site is
Oh, that's what OSHA is. Okay.
100% safe? Yeah.
Safety.
Hello and welcome to Let's Just Be Wizards. I'm your host, Adam, and with me in the studio we have...
Simply Coco.
And the Tiptopolis of the Macropolis, Max Lehman.
Nice.
And coming straight to you in stereo, Diamond Drew.
Man, I have no clever things about my name ever. Just
Edgar,
reading the words.
Adam's our teachers.
I guess so. Because this week on Wizards, it's our third course in our Beginner's Ritual Magic series. For this episode, we will cover the first half of the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. So that's going to mean basically just the Kabbalistic cross. And we're going to go through how to perform that, our experiences performing it, and a little bit about the history of it. The Lesser Banisher Ritual of the Pentagram was created by the Order of the Golden Dawn as a means of cleansing an area for performance of ritual magic.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
Kind of like clean out the room and stuff.
Police the empties before you open up the party.
Exactly. It combines meditation, movement, and chanting in order to elevate one's consciousness to a higher spiritual plane. And on the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, Aleister Crowley was quoted saying, "Every man has a natural fortress within himself." Oh, sorry, let me do the voice. "Every man has a natural fortress within himself, the soul impregnable. Besides this central citadel, man also has outer works.
Central Citadel, I love him.
The aura. It is the duty of every person to see that his aura is in good condition. There are two main methods for doing this. The first is by performing 2 or 3 times daily of the Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. Its main point is to establish in the astral 4 pentagrams, 1 in each quarter and 2 hexagrams, one above and the other below, thus enclosing the magician, as it were, in a consecrated box." So that's a long quote.
That was, but you know what? He didn't spare you on what exactly to do. If we were confused, I mean, you might need to ask him what exactly he meant, but I think we got the gist of it. Like, I don't think he could have been more clear with it. I couldn't have possibly been more clear with my instructions.
Yeah, no, I get the feeling he'd probably say something like that.
Yeah.
What a dick.
What an... God,
I hate
Crowley.
that guy.
Dude.
I don't know why I hate him
I don't
so
know
much.
what... I don't know, like...
Crowley, I don't know where you crawled.
Like I like him, but at the same time, like he would just be one of those guys, you know, where you're just like,
how could you hate a guy
He
that's
could be
so
a doc
cuddly?
drunkard
no,
if
that's
he
what I mean.
wanted
Like
to.
he's been in the fandom so long, you know, everyone likes him.
He could be
He's
a
got
doc
the charity
drunkard.
booth
I think,
or whatever.
I think he'd like to
Call
do
me a
that.
dissident.
He liked to impersonate English doc drunkards. And he kind of did some of his magic. He did his water magic and like on jetties and wharfs and docks.
Damn, I never got to that
Pretty fucking cool, Max.
Yeah.
that part of the book.
Well, this is something I've heard, like an accounting of like the maid of the aunt who was the sister and da da di da.
You're talking about his first sexual experience?
No, I'm just talking about
'Cause that
some
was
of
with
his
the maid.
habits. Just some of his habits.
Really?
That's all.
Yeah.
Do you think more
His
people
wizardly
would
habits. That's all.
have sex with maids if there were more maids in houses? You know,
Just by the law
I think
of...
like in Victorian era, like in the
believe
law
they're
of
called
proximity.
housekeepers these
probabilities
days, and they're
and-
not always women.
Well,
Doesn't mean you
okay,
can't
I don't
have
want
sex
to.
with
Yeah,
them.
what? I'm sorry. Like, yeah, the pool boy having sex with the pool boy. Everyone knows that move. It's a classic.
If it was a
Or
Monet
pool
selection
girl.
person.
It sounds really wrong.
If it was
Yeah,
a Monet
I mean,
reflection pool, though,
I mean,
then
like
that's
you know,
all right.
as in boy, as in servant. Excuse me. I meant that like not as in like you know clearly this is an adult person. They're in the employ, but you know
My jokes
Yeah.
never are picked up.
Wait, what
here.
was your joke?
That was all just a joke taken to another level.
well. Look,
Watch
you can
what you
hook up
say,
with
or
the
it
pool
might
boy
be.
if you want. It's fine.
Wish I had a pool.
Oh man, I wish we
Fuck a pool boy. I want a pool.
like once you have a pool, you'll want someone there to keep it fucking clean. It's so much
Be
goddamn
like,
work.
Look,
Yeah.
just stop it, pool boy. Go clean the pool. I don't
Yeah,
want to
no,
have
like
sex
not
with you.
right now.
It's gonna be
pH was
pool boy, I have
It's
a
gonna be,
headache.
trust me though, it's
Pool
gonna
boy,
be
can you
to
get down
give
to-
a moose a muffin all over again.
Pool boy, can you get down to Leslie's and pick up some 2 crates of sulfuric acid and some shog? I think I saw some blue-green algae growing in the tile there.
So there's lots of different variations you can do in performing the ritual. But we kept it pretty simple for this one. So I'm going to go over what the Kabbalistic cross consists of. And during this time, listening, you should be doing it too, no matter what you're doing. If you're flying a plane, get your hands off the... Is that
Flip it
legally
to
okay to
autopilot.
do?
Put your hands in the air.
Definitely.
Like you
Well,
just
like
don't
what?
care.
Tell
Like-
people to do bad, like as if a plane crashes.
Oh,
No,
like
they
are
have,
you
they have
saying
a
like
great autopilot
all right, this
system.
is Southwest
Well, if it's
245,
like 15
and this is your
seconds, I
captain
can see
speaking.
that not
According
being
to
a
this
problem.
podcast that I'm doing right now, I'm listening to. It's a pretty good one. It's about black magic and whatnot. We're going to be doing the Kabbalistic cross, and if you could all just join in and look outside the left of your window, you'll see the Grand Canyon. Like get everyone on board the plane to do it with him. Are you picturing like a bush
great
pilot,
thing.
like a bush pilot, like civil aviator, like just flying my little Cessna,
I always know some
my
podcasts or
Piper
something,
Cub.
or like for meditation things, they're always like, and of course, don't do this if you're driving.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
just saying,
close your eyes while you're driving.
do it while
Yeah.
you're
Holy
driving.
shit.
If you're stuck
and
in
just
traffic
die.
right now, crash your car.
I don't know.
Crash your car.
They're not
If
going to
you're
do
dumb
it.
enough to do this while you're
Yeah,
driving,
you're
you
so
deserve
punk
to
rock.
die. Goodbye.
I could say anything, and people, you just
Crash your light
will
a smoke a
listen to you.
cigarette and crash your damn car already.
All right.
And blow up a McDonald's before though.
Whoa, Max.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wait, I thought
Nobody
it was,
wants you farting
was
in a
that meme?
McDonald's.
What?
It was Applebee's. What about setting fire to Applebee's?
Farting in an apple.
Like-
Farting
No,
in an
setting
Applebee's.
setting fire to an apple.
Just
you remember
throwing their
this meme?
grease trap all
No.
over the floor and then unhooking
We need
a gas
we need a young
vent.
Jamie to look these things up because there's
All right.
a meme
Can we get a meme check here?
about that. Go Google it. Set fire to your local Applebee's.
Wow, I've never
Wow.
eaten an
I've-
Applebee's.
It's a part of an
You
ongoing
mean have a
meme.
party
It's
in
a
an
much bigger meme.
Applebee's? Set fire to it at a party?
All right. So
Set fire, yo, party.
you're gonna want your altar here when you're performing this ritual. That should have the 4 tools representing the magical elements on top, like we talked about before. You don't want to be missing any of those. So have all of them present or use none of them at all. Also, he recommends putting the major arcana cards in a pile on top of the altar too. But for this week, you don't have to worry about that.
I did that.
Oh, and of
I
course,
definitely tried that. I don't know if it made much of a difference.
but yeah, we're drawing this from Modern Magic by Donald Michael Craig. So I just got to say that every time because we're biting his shit.
Yeah.
We're stealing his shit,
We've,
giving it to you.
This is our little book club segment, and we're all supposed to be reading the book, and I'm reading sections of it. Mm-hmm. It's trippy stuff, man.
Reading sections very
I
slowly.
believe Coco referred to it as dense stuff.
It's very dense. It
Very.
Is
is.
it
I
like high
definitely-
calorie
but,
nutrient block?
I don't know. I try to just absorb the sound of it, and then assume that the message, like, if I can absorb the sound of these things, and I can act out the ritual in some way, like, perhaps my understanding of it will actually manifest itself cosmically. I'm not
Fake it till you make
well,
it.
not so much fake it till you make it, but just like, the idea of it being a ritual, like the more you do it, the more in tuned you're going to get to it, right?
Yeah.
Because I know the first time you walked me through this, like I was kind of just like, well,
You seem to like it.
I
You
was
said you were
like
very
I was
centered
I was having a really crazy awesome night too,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of like my energy was just all over the place. And then after you did that, I was just like, I don't know, I just felt calm and was just like, okay, maybe the excitement of this isn't exactly in line with the reality of it, and like, just help me take a step back for a second at the very least. like magically speaking, I don't know what it did, but it definitely, just helped as just like, but then like, I mean, Catholics do almost the exact same thing as this thing. So
Diamond Drew is making is crossing himself Catholically.
But,
Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
Like, I find that, having a neat kind of ritual thing that you can act in, like, it's like, oh, what's that guy doing? He's clearly a man of faith over there. Like, oh no, I'm just demonic and whatever. Like, but
you could trick someone with this stuff because it is drawn from Christianity.
It looks a little
Judaism.
Christian.
Is there
Don't
a
they
baptism?
call it
You mean?
the
Is there a
something or other
baptism?
cross? What
There's
is it?
another kind of baptism. What?
The
They call it
Kabbalistic cross you're
Kabbalistic
in.
cross.
Yeah.
So
It's the Kabbalistic cross, and I don't know how much like wandering through big box stores mumbling to yourself you do. Like,
I full on sing.
yeah, I
in the
mean,
store.
just to get to that point. Luckily, yeah, I mean, yeah, if
Big
you're
box
hot,
stores?
yeah, like a Target
Okay, yeah.
or a,
Man,
or
if
a
I'm
Fry's
at Target
or
having to buy
Co-op
something,
or
I'm
a
just
co-op.
totally rude all
It's
the
kind of a
time.
big box store.
You're what, man?
Singing
If I'm
lines.
ever like having to like find something that I couldn't find elsewhere at a Target, I'm just fucking rude to cashiers.
What?
That's like dark magic right there.
Unreasonable,
I
Max.
smash candy bars and I'm mean to the employees.
That's on brand for
I need
you,
more of
isn't it?
these. Where do you have more of them? Type of thing.
Oh, Max.
So, Donald Michael Craig also says you can sit on a chair. He says bring a chair into your area that you can sit.
Well, that's for the because you're supposed to meditate with the relaxation ritual before you do this.
Look at you knowing this stuff. Yes.
I like to get comfortable before I try to do rituals.
Before you do the ritual, do the other ritual
Where's your
too, where you
favorite-
do the orb.
The
What's your
very
favorite
first-
chair?
I do my own
It's
ritual.
a series.
Huh?
What's your favorite chair?
Endorphin boosting.
Where is it?
It's any one that's really squishy and comfy.
Yeah, but
it doesn't
like
have to
but
be a specific
Really,
chair.
you don't have a specific chair that you
It's got to
think,
be
like,
a couch or one of those couches
one of
that
those
just seats
sofa
one.
chairs. Yeah, sofa
I mean, like
chair,
a motor
dude.
couch.
Yeah, if
My
it can
favorite
drive
chair
all the
is my
better.
You
bed.
can drive a couch.
There
I
you
would
go.
say at this point my favorite chair is probably my bed or maybe my desk chair, but my desk chair is kind of an odd height. Like it's a little bit much
I mean,
to.
Exalted.
I mean, if you can
It's
drive
not
a
supposed
chair,
to-
you can drive a couch.
It's not supposed to be exalted. I just wasn't as committed to my standing desk
Unless
as
it's a sectional.
as I thought I would be. And you want to drive a couch, you just get a 72 Chrysler Cordoba. That should
Oh, there you
be
go.
pretty close.
Okay, so you got your altar set up in the middle of this imaginary circle, let's say. You have the chair, you're sitting down, you're doing the golden orb meditation we talked about in lesson 1. Now you're ready to perform the first half of the Kabbalistic, or of the lesser banishing ritual of the Pentagram. All right. You are in the presence of God. Step 1. Visualize yourself getting larger and larger, taller and taller, until you tower above the room you are in. Continue this growing visualization until the city you live in is small beneath your feet. See the continent as tiny compared to your majestic body. Now even the earth is small beneath your feet. However, no matter how small the earth is still firm and solid beneath your feet, anchoring you to the ground. You will not float away.
Do you remember that Tim and Eric sketch where they got really tall and they were like, yes,
This is like
so
that.
long. Yes, the very, very long.
Yes.
Tall enough so that you can
can't
ship
help but think of
miniature
them
Goliaths.
like turning into those really long.
You have to pretend you're getting big,
Yeah.
like Ultraman does. So just imagine you're growing.
Hopefully you haven't
gotta
broken your
think big, I
concentration
think.
completely now. with
just gotta
being-
think big.
having that
So
interrupted.
long. The very, very long.
All right. So now you begin to see the planets in the solar system as like tiny toy rubber balls spinning near your feet. Soon they are too small to see.
Man, this is fun.
Now, visualize a dot of light coming from somewhere far above your head. Know that this is only a tiny bit of the light from this source, and if you saw the full brightness of this light, you would immediately be blinded, and quite possibly go insane. This tiny bit of endless, limitless light forms a brilliant white sphere of pulsating light just above your head. It is 9 inches in diameter, about the size of a dinner plate. It is brighter than 10,000 suns.
I know what I want for dinner.
But still only a tiny portion of the source of this divine spiritual white light. Alright, so point to that sphere above your head and begin dragging it towards your forehead.
You
Feeling-
can use a dagger, right?
Yes.
Or also your fingers.
Yes.
Should I drag a dagger on
You-
my forehead?
No, you don't touch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I use my fingers because there's the second move in this we're gonna get to, and I really like doing the Michael Jackson crotch grab for it, and you can't do that with a knife in your hand.
No.
But you can point.
You can get good.
with the
You
knife.
can point at your dick with a knife or your vagina.
Thank you. I
So-
used a knife.
So anyways, visualize this bright light that you're bringing into your head, filling you with light, and vibrate the word Ata as you bring the light into your head. Now, bring the point of the dagger or your finger firmly down your body until you are pointing towards the ground, aka grabbing your junk, and vibrate Malkut. Imagine the light moving from your head, drawing all the way down to your feet. Now, bring your blade or finger up to your right shoulder. As you do this, visualize the beam of white light running down the center of your body. From the heart area out to your right, past the blade of your right shoulder. See the beam of light extended to the end of the universe and vibrate. Vigibura. Now move the finger or blade horizontally to your left shoulder. As you do, visualize the beam of light now extending through the infinite space to your left. As you focus on this beam of light, vibrate. Vigidula. And the final step, clasp your hands at your chest as if praying. If you're using a dagger, the point should be up, not pointing away from you or to the sides or down. Visualize within your chest at this point, covered by your folded hands, a brilliant golden glow. Vibrate. Liola. Amen. I actually recorded a video of me doing this, and I was going to post it on the Wizards thing, but it was kind of creepy. So
I liked that video. I was
It
sure.
says
I
in the
wish I
book,
had
though,
seen
to
that
not let anyone see you ever doing this.
Maybe
Yeah.
some end of season extra content for our Patreon prescribers.
Hey, there
By
you go.
the
There
way,
you go.
how's
Then
our
we'll let you
friend-
see everything.
How's our
Yeah.
special friend
We'll
doing?
give you a prescription.
How's our friend
You
from
prescribe-
Pennsylvania?
Oh, he's
Oh,
doing.
is he?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him, but I hope
Didn't
he got
you,
the package.
Yeah,
think-
let
I
us
think
know
you
if you
friended
met
me on
some
Facebook,
friends.
so-
Well, then he made some
Oh.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we
Already looking.
yeah, we mailed off our first Patreon gift and a little while ago, so hopefully you got it already. If it hasn't been detained by customs or
Yeah.
something, because the
Oh,
contents
man.
of this item.
Those Pennsylvania customs
Was it
offices.
was
Yeah.
it reeking?
I
Was
know
the
stuff.
package reeking?
Huh? Yeah, I gave it some sense.
Yeah, my package reeks
Definitely.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Max.
Fucking,
Oh,
We got to start the show
Crow.
over now.
Jesus Crowley.
Crow?
Just some-
you know, when
Just some bad humor.
just
bad,
MST3K reference.
Oh.
Terrible humor.
Like he would often say things like that, and then the crew would respond with, "Oh, crow."
Crow.
Oh, yeah.
My mind immediately goes to CRROW777,
Yeah.
the man who is showing us on YouTube that the moon is a hologram.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
I'm surprised they never
Perfect.
called a car the Raven.
That would be pretty badass.
Yeah,
You can only
I
get
know.
one color.
Yeah, it comes in black with a black interior.
There was a Falk Raven though.
Well, I guess Jaguars.
No.
aren't
So
all
what the
black.
hell
cat.
do we do
Those
after we
come
do
in
this
different
crazy ritual,
colors.
Adam?
Now that you've done the ritual, kill them all. No, I mean that's it. If you can do this,
Okay, so I overdid it this week.
what did you do?
I did that, and then I did the pentacle thing after that with the blazing blue.
How does
light
that
thing.
work? Tell us about it.
You want to spoil the next episode? Oh
Preview,
God, are we
little
going to be able to
spoilers,
do that
dude.
for next
Well,
episode?
I've already done it all, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's why I felt so pressured this past week.
Yeah,
Because
didn't
you
realize
because you did all the extra credit.
I
the
didn't
text
do-
just
I
said
thought it was-
just do the Kabbalistic
Well,
cross.
I thought
the gig
I
and
thought
nerd took
I thought
over. You did.
the pentacle thing came before this
Oh yeah,
in the ritual.
It can. You can draw the Earth
I've-
pentagram.
You know what is the problem is that I did this a long time ago, and it's been a long time, and so I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this, and then I would start doing it, and then I would screw it up,
Mhm.
and so then I just was like, well, I'm gonna do both because I don't know which one's what I'm supposed to be doing right now because they confuse me. They're very similar.
Just my thoughts on this stuff is that if you start doing it, even if you suck at it maybe in your head or your friends make fun of you or something, at least you're doing it.
You get nothing out of not doing it.
That's right. And by doing it, like for me, like at least it was like I was able to memorize it and just the first part, obviously there's not too many words. And it was even when I was doing it not my ritual area, and I would just be driving and I'd do it, and I'm sure all this is like I'm going to Wiccan hell for this, but
Yeah,
why
yeah.
not?
I don't-
Bring
right.
it with you. Bring the magic.
We'll
that
just
you-
have
one of
them
those
stick
things
your
where,
soul
like,
in a halfling.
I feel
We'll
like
just
That's
do that.
more.
That's the problem with ceremonial or ritual magic is it's Catholic. It's like it's so ceremonial, just like it
Well,
says.
is
It's
Shinto
so,
is Shinto ceremonial?
there's so many.
Yeah, like are we the pagan version of heathens by not taking this seriously?
Well, I
we
think
are
if
Christian.
you're gonna do something that requires that you do it with like all this reverence and like it even goes as far as to say that you should maybe even take a bath beforehand. And
Well,
like,
I'm always 2 hours from my next shower and 20 minutes from my last shower, so I don't see how I could possibly bathe any more than I already do.
the point is
But-
to take a ritual bath, and
Oh, believe me,
I'd
there's a
rather
ritual
hike out
involved.
somewhere and bathe in like a lake while the moon's out.
I like Max's idea.
Yeah, there you go.
But then you gotta hike.
And you
Some
can
people aren't into that.
and you can use natural items to create your altar of earth.
Wow,
earth.
you could just like
water.
gather like
You can make little
needles,
like
Yeah.
little trail ducks.
hollow logs.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Find a hollow log to
Find a
crawl
hollow
through.
log and like char it out a little and then like sand it with the end
Hollow
of
out
a
a
stick.
log or
yeah, I
two.
just went hiking last week, which is like insane because I haven't done it in so long. And we just found a lot of cool stuff.
Man, there's
like
so many good
rocks
places
and
to hike
plants
around
and-
here.
Oh, we went up to like
We are very
Auburn
fortunate.
Nature
Oh,
Reserve or
wow.
whatever.
You really got out there. I
And
mean,
we
I
went-
just like going on the River Parkway. There's so many good places to hike just right here in town.
Yeah, I like out there though because it feels more wild. But
You're listening to Hike Sacramento.
the point is that the I actually gave her my friend that I was with. I gave her a Reiki healing in the woods. I know this is kind of veering off topic, but it was. I felt very much more than normal. I felt the like sort of pagan connection to nature when we were out there. I just felt like everything felt very magical, and but it's that type of gray magic because it's so wild and untamed, and like there's certain things like if you took one wrong step, you could fall into the river and fucking die because it's so strong.
Yeah.
And like that's nature, and then you look up and it's fucking gorgeous, and there was a rainbow when we're walking back, and it's just like, wow, this is beautiful, but it's also like you could die. You know what I mean? Like just so many
Oh yeah.
the inherent magicalness of nature. and like why paganism is so nature based was really coming to me a lot when I was on that hike.
Did you see any nature when you were overseas, Adam? Or were you just in the cities mostly?
I tried to avoid nature, but I had to venture out into some of. I was in Myanmar for like 3 months last year. That's why the podcast took a break.
Is the nature there any more pure than ours?
Yes.
Nice.
Last time,
Because apparently the nature in Auburn is more pure than the nature in the middle of town. Even though I don't know.
the last time I was in nature, I was
Go
with
check it out for yourself
family,
and
and I
tell me.
I've been
rescued
to
my
Auburn.
dad.
Oh wait, Max is giving us a story.
When I was last in nature, I was out kind of near Sand Pond, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, let's all swim across the pond."
Mm-hmm.
And like the whole family did it, and I kind of hung back to make sure, and sure enough, Dad is like kind of flubbering or whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
And everyone, there's all the freaking
Paulie
Cleveland. There's the
not
Cleveland
seem like
family
he would be the best
swimming to
swimmer
the end. So I'm
in
like,
the
all right,
world."
guys, I'm gonna save Dad.
You saved your dad
And
from
I
a
saved
pond.
my dad,
From-
and they were all
from-
on the shore
from
wondering, hey,
flailing
where
in a
are
pond.
they? Yeah.
I had to be rescued from the river, kind of. Our friend,
rescued
mutual
my
friend,
father.
Carlo, saved me from
They
drowning
should
in the river in high
tattoo
school.
Did
a
he?
merit badge to my ass for
He
that,
would.
for saving my father.
Yeah,
They should.
man.
All right, so those words that we talked about that you say actually have meaning. They're not just silly things that you just exclaim.
No.
Yeah, no, there's actually meaning behind them. So when you say ata, it's Hebrew for thine. So thine. Malkut means kingdom. And Vigibura means and the power. Vigidula means and the glory.
You're a Vagadula.
Leolam forever and amen. Does this sound familiar to you?
Glory forever.
Sounds a
Thine
little bit
I
Christian.
don't know. I
Is
think
the
I've been living in a
kingdom-
jungle all my life. What's all that mean?
And the power
And the glory
forever.
forever.
Amen. So
Amen.
if you ever forget how to do it, you can just
What are you roping me
I don't think
into?
that's-
Wait a
Adam?
minute.
If you ever forget what it means,
Why-
there you go.
You made me inadvertently
The words are hard.
say Christian stuff when I
You
thought I
tricked
was.
me into doing a Christian thing.
Exactly.
Adam, I
This
don't,
was
I
all
don't know
Kabbalistic
about
cross,
this.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
right
know
there.
about this.
You don't know about this
Christian
stuff?
thing,
Adam,
because
I don't
they've done so
know.
many bad things.
I mean,
it's the
this-
secrets of the universe is that
this is a good Christian podcast now.
well, that's what the Order of the Golden Dawn did, was they tried to figure out, what's the big key to unlocking the powers of life and everything.
To
And
control
they
everyone.
took something from
That's
here
how-
and there, from Kundalini,
All there is love.
Judaism, and
And they just mixed it
Christianity.
up and fed it to everyone, didn't they?
All
Well, it's
there is
still-
love.
There's still love.
Mixed it
to be
all
had.
up with love.
Okay, hold on a second. And we're back. So we have learned how to do the Kabbalistic cross. This should put you in the center of the universe.
Did you feel it?
I don't know. I tried. Yeah, the visualizing it part, to connect that with memorization part was a little hard for me.
I feel like maybe this was written in a time before like really good like VR and video games and movies with fantastic special effects that, can show just about any amazing thing at any scale that they want.
Ritual magic.
I think that maybe our modern imaginations are not prepared for this kind of
ritual magic is like the antithesis
I
of chaos magic.
I didn't get the experience, but I got a really good idea for a play. It was like a vaudevillian thing about tobacco. It was like, we are the carcinogens.
Well, I don't think they knew about that back in vaudeville days.
Well, that's that was Magic in action. Now you have a award-winning
it
Tony
gave me a
Award.
little. It gave me a little.
What's for
spark.
plays?
I'm just
Tony,
looking for
yeah,
a
he
big
just
spark.
won. Max,
Tony-
you just won a Tony.
with that idea.
Did I?
Like, yeah, they'll get Matt and Trey
Help
to
me- help me-
produce.
Yes.
Yeah,
Help me create this. Yeah, or I'll
Max,
get
you just
them.
hammer it out.
hammer it out.
It's been sent to you magically, cosmically.
Yeah.
Just like the podcast, you're gonna start Dark Days. I really want to hear that.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I'm
I
waiting
want to
for
hear
Dark
myself
Days.
making it.
Yeah. Okay. So we kind of talked about your experience. How'd you feel doing the ritual?
I've been doing it more and more. I mean, I've done it a number of times now. The most effective experience I had was when I was talking to you, but I have this other thing where it kind of some things that I was keeping track of in my my star journal. I had not been having very vivid dreams up until after I had done this Kabbalistic cross lesser banishing ritual.
Yeah.
And then that same night I had a really kind of very vivid, kind of funny dream where I was at the Hyatt in Burlingame, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
I had just packed up a bunch of audio gear, finishing up this thing I had done at the convention. So I was dreaming of the future again, and someone had told me that my microphone preamp, they saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, the CL1, it's decent. And they're like, no, that thing's junk. It sucks. There's way better, cleaner sounding preamps than that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, okay, there probably are, but this one, I think it does a good job. And they're like, no, it's just junk. And I'm like, I can really prove that it's not junk. And then I took it and I threw it off the mezzanine, and it just landed on the floor, and the corner was dented. And then we went down, I'm like, let's see if it still works, and then plugged it back in, and yeah, it worked fine. And I personally believe that you probably could throw a CL1 off a second story and it would shrug it off. It's a fairly robust little piece of gear, if not the hottest sounding one in the world. But I like it for its versatility and its durability, not necessarily its superior sound quality.
This week on audio engineering.
No, this was a very odd, vivid dream that I had after that experience, and I feel as though the thing I was focusing on when I was doing the lesser banishing ritual, it definitely had a lot to do with that, because I might have a recording gig coming up at BabsCon, which may involve some voice talent from the show.
The air horn on that.
So not gonna jinx it by saying too much about it, other than I might have a pretty cool recording gig coming up.
Oh yeah, you've told me about.
I've
it.
told
I'm
you
not going to announce
I've
it.
heard this
I don't wanna
news. I
make
was
any
there for the
announcements.
news.
Yeah, Max was here when I found out that me and Max were hanging out when I found
LeVar
out
You're
about
getting
it.
tapped,
Yeah.
man.
I think we've all been having really,
LeVar
really
freaking
cool
Burton himself.
opportunities
You got
lately
tapped.
in other areas of life.
Yeah, and is it any coincidence that we've all performed the LBRP?
And other such. Even just the golden light relaxation ritual. Even just that, I think, is really helpful in all aspects of life.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that more, and I think it's showing.
Yeah, what was
Showing
your
its-
experience like with the
With the golden ball
yeah.
light ritual.
or the that
The
we
lesser
talked about-
banishing ritual.
Yeah,
I
what
think
we're
is the
talking
one
about
where-
with the
Well,
Kabbalistic
okay,
cross.
so I got See, I think maybe I grew a little, like when imagining, but I hit like a ceiling. So I only grow so big. But when I opened my eyes, like the world around changed a little bit. Like it was kind of monochrome. And so I'm like, okay, wait, what's going on? I walk out to the street and I can see footprints.
Oh, wow.
And I saw this footprint with like a rattlesnake emblem on the bottom of it. And I'm like, wait, no, people don't have shoes like that.
There's only one manufacturer of boot in the known world who uses a rattlesnake.
Detectives were able to identify the killer.
I'm
By
thinking,
the rattlesnake.
oh wait,
insignia
maybe
on the
I
bottom
should
of
just
his
go
shoe.
back. But I'm like, no, I need to engage somehow. So I went to Identity.
Only 12.
Oh,
I went to Identity Coffee, and
Plug in
I
the
get a
coffee.
matcha chai.
Oh, yeah.
Very good,
Oh, that
highly
matcha
recommended.
is,
Very good cold brew, but you know we all need a
if you
matcha
wanna-
chai once in a while.
Get the caffeine going.
And it's like people
Hey.
had these threads coming out of them a little bit.
Hey.
You were seeing all this.
Yes, I was seeing it, and it was like
Warning.
some of the
Ritual
color.
magic may cause temporary psychosis.
Some of the color was gone from the world, but like the colors I could notice were
Sounds
like
like you
the
just needed a
details
matcha.
realized. As in, like I kind of like walked behind someone going to the table, and I could like hear
So you were like astrally projecting.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit,
Wow.
but in person
Like at the coffee shop.
at the
You're just
coffee
like,
shop. I wasn't
Man,
just
and you know
passed
what?
out
No,
in
like,
my
and-
room.
and I had like
went and got
gotten the-
coffee.
I'd like gotten on the somersault guy for doing somersaults while he was at the coffee shop, and you're
And
like,
so I'm like, all
you're
right,
going over there doing all this like crazy magic
I'm
ritual
drinking-
stuff. I just wish people would go there and just drink coffee and not like
I know how you
drag
feel.
all their
But
their
anyways-
crap in there with them. It just seems to be this
It's
thing
like
that everyone feels like they can
Okay.
do.
All right, Max.
I think it's Max's.
yeah, I kind of wasn't finished. But
He's
thanks.
holding the speaking stone now.
Yeah, I'm holding
Yeah.
the speaking stone. Try and get it. Try and get it. Anyways, kind of leaving, and like there was a guy kind of posted on the bench out front, and his shoes were kind of like catching light, and that was the rattlesnake thing, and he had like this red kind of black thread coming out of him, and I'm like, okay,
Thread coming out of where?
from like the back of
His
his
bottom?
neck, back of his neck,
Weird.
yeah.
What?
And so I'm like, okay, I don't even want to
Well,
interact with this dude.
Max,
I'm
No,
just gonna
hold
know
on.
there
like,
was.
I thought you said you didn't have good results from this ritual, and like here you are once again, like you're like, oh, I don't know how it worked out, and then you come back with these like
well, I think
freaking
maybe
fantastic.
when I gather my magic,
Results that
sometimes
you-
I get like an unexpected result.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's just kind of my wavelength.
I mean,
I
but
think
I
he's
don't
so
think a
used to
result you
living
didn't expect is not something you should consider like, you know, a failure or a misstep. Like that is some intense stuff.
Something that's mentioned in the beginning of this book is that by doing these rituals and by following this path, that you will start to see into other dimensions of reality. So I don't know if you read that part of the book, Adam, but he talks
So
about that.
I could have gathered.
I
as
mean,
much
that
as you're kinda
apparently
putting
so.
yourself on another
Yeah, I mean,
plane.
we've
That's one of the things that he
So-
basically warns you about is that, like, if you're not used to that, don't get freaked out. If it freaks you out, you should
I
That's
stop.
basically
incredible,
went.
Max.
I went home after that. I wrote everything down as I saw it,
Nice.
and I'm like, okay, I should just take a nap. I should make more tea and then drink a nap, just herbal tea.
have a caffeine
Cozy
nap.
time.
Yeah, dude.
I can
cozy
do that.
caffeine nap. Yeah, I like
Caffeine,
that,
caffeine
dude.
isn't as strong on me for
No,
some
I
reason.
like somehow I like drinking a bunch of caffeine and laying down. There's something kind of
Oh yeah, I
sorta-
drink hella coffee
and
right
then
before I
just,
go
like,
to
You
take
sleep.
a
poking holes
nap,
in my
dude.
Wake up
story?
and
No,
sweat.
Max, I'm saying
Yeah.
something I like doing. Yeah, you wake up all sweaty and just like caffeine's wearing off. Like I don't know. I like that feeling.
Yeah, I was kind of in a fervor. You know,
It sounds like
it
it.
was a little. It wasn't tranquil.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, that's kind of what I experienced. I Yeah. And
Well,
I've experienced things like that before, but I don't always share
Can't just-
that.
See, that's why it wasn't as big a deal for Max at this house. He's like, the ritual.
This is my
Yeah.
life, you guys.
Right? No, I just like, but then
constantly
once again with like
hallucinating.
the coffee shop, it's like
So I kind of, I
One
think
thing
I
I would
opened,
just
I
like it
opened
to-
a gate. I think I opened a gate inside myself.
not
That's
You
kinda
were
what
living-
and
happened.
that's it. That's what DMK says will happen, actually. So
You ever smoked DMK before?
I have, but didn't do anything. to me.
dimethyltryptamine,
Donald Michael Krypton.
dimethylkryptonite.
Dimethyl kryptonite.
Don Michael Kennedy.
Right, Courtney.
Michael
How was your trip?
Michael Kennedy.
I was tripping because I actually went a little too far and a little far ahead in the book, and I tried to do both this and the next of the next part of the ritual. So it's a lot more. There's a lot more noises, words
Yeah.
that you have to memorize, and so I was getting really caught up in all the ritual, and I actually had a really difficult time with this one because and it's weird because like I was saying at the beginning of this series, this is a book that I've had that was my first real magical excursion, except for when I was like 11 I did that other weird thing, but
That we all know about.
with the Celtic magic in the nighttime.
Yeah.
If you go back to episode, I don't know which episode it was,
it
but
was
I did,
on an
No, I
episode.
have talked about that
Okay.
before. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, duh.
but this was like
Yeah.
I was actually seeking it out at the time, and someone recommended this book to me, and it was a person that has been doing practicing the occult for a long time, so I trusted his word, and it turned out to be very effective at that time for me, because at that time, like, it was, I needed structure and I needed like specifics, like symbols, words, and not that it's any less effective now, it's just more difficult for me because I connect a lot easier to witchcraft, or I don't even like to use the term witchcraft, I just like energy, like simulation manipulation, or
Okay.
like,
Witchcraft.
or just like reality manipulation.
Wizardry.
If
one
you
might
want
even
to, if you
say?
want to be a little more, I mean, if I'm being
Wizardry.
scientific, I'll just say reality manipulation.
What would you like to call it?
That's what I just said. Reality manipulation.
That sounds
Reality.
fascinating.
So
you've had different experiences over the
in
years.
this world,
I've
with
tried a lot
different-
of different types of
with different
reality
camps,
manipulation,
yeah.
and this was the first one. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that was like what, almost, it's been like 14 years.
A little while.
So it's been a
Dating
little while.
yourself.
I am dating myself, sorry. Sorry, self.
I recently started dating myself.
Yeah,
It's
I think we did that one last
Oh,
time.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I had to do the callback.
The old joke recycle. No, okay, so this time around it's been very difficult for me because I'm so left brain focused on like doing it right. Like I want everything to be perfect. I like pulled out my compass to find out exactly where is east in my apartment, and like I think I just was trying too hard with my left brain, and that kept pulling me out of the moment. And then I was obsessively trying to restart the ritual every time I would do that, which I don't recommend anyone do.
wave
I
of
think
the
you should
future.
just. It's like with learning
It's
a
the wave of
musical.
the future.
It's like with learning a musical instrument. You just keep going. You don't stop every time. Otherwise, you get too, again, caught up in your left
Never
brain.
learned to play saxophone that way.
So,
What, with your left brain?
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Left-
bypass my left brain because I
Trying
know
to-
that that's just going to get in the way of my connection to spirit. So that's what this is all about, right? That bringing that white light down. You're basically bringing it down into your crown chakra, which is the first part of this.
When life gives
So if I
you
can
a crux,
continue-
Backup vocals.
when life gives you a crux, make cruxicles.
Anyway, I didn't really notice anything this past week with this because I just feel like I didn't have enough time to really like I tried to learn too much of it. I didn't realize
Well,
that we were only doing the first part, and so I went a little too far with it, and I tried to be
But
too precise.
What happened before when you were, like you said, you've had this book for a long
Yeah.
time. Like
Before
what were your past experiences like?
Well, I was
using these techniques?
definitely seeing things from
Nice.
in the astral plane, what I considered to be the astral plane. Like I would see things out of the corner of my eye, weird mystical things started popping up into my life.
Oh,
But
man.
I will say that since starting this series, and especially I'm going to go back to that golden orb meditation because it's super important, like whatever kind of magic you do, to have some kind of meditation ritual. And
Covered in part 1 of our series.
yes, part 1.
Man, I saw a shadow
which is in this
creature
book.
now
It's
that I'm
called the
remembering.
relaxation ritual. And when you start doing that regularly, I think that helps just in practical ways. So like I've been noticing having a lot more practical success
Yeah.
in other endeavors in my life.
Yes.
And some of us are having the same experiences. 'Cause we're
Fingers
in the
crossed.
same project.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So I've been noticing a lot of positive effects, but also just I don't know. Like I've noticed more opportunities for self-growth and more moments of being more conscious of what I'm saying and doing and not doing, and like being in situations and being like, okay, this is probably a bad decision. I'm going to go ahead and say no to this. Whereas before I'd be like, fuck it. You know, like I'm just noticing a heightened sense of awareness lately.
Yeah. It kind of it's an empowering feeling if you can visualize this one strongly. I feel it's my experience was, I don't know, I felt like I could really understand this concept, like growing huge, becoming the universe, becoming part of everything. I've had that feeling before. Have you guys ever had something like that? When you're doing meditation and you feel like,
I
or
think
just
I have.
something else, and you're like, I'm at one with the world right now.
The one
Or
I've
just,
had
like,
is
not
like
in your body. You're more than
is
like
like,
our expansive consciousness.
the one I
Yeah.
got out of it was there's no magic bullet for all of life's challenges, but there are some. You just got to dig around in the trunk.
And there is a magic bullet for,
It's it chops, it blends, it does it all.
and you
man.
just shake it and it does it.
Yeah,
You just kind of
just twist and it goes. There's no
can just
confusing
twist it.
buttons or anything. It's great.
You don't
Oh,
have
that's how
to
it
throw
works.
it. You know.
And yeah, no, I did this ritual. I think every time I did it, even if I was just,
hold on, I want to just real quick. Like,
this better be fucking good.
Did any of the product developers who made the Magic Bullet
Okay.
blender
fucking
go like, hey, can we not think of
That
a
one's
name
gone
that has
down-
nothing
that
to
bullet-
no, hold on.
that
that's like-
bullet has gone
Max,
downrange,
Max,
okay?
that's like, hey, how about a Kennedy conspiracy? Let's name our product after that. Like,
That's a good point.
yeah, like, did that?
It's not
did
the
that
first time
occur to
a good
anyone?
product's
Yeah.
been named after
Something just like
something about Kennedy's
let's
dying.
let's evoke some national tragedy with our late night TV blender.
Why is everything about Kennedy right now?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
I
'Cause I've
was
been-
named after
I don't
Courtney
know,
Kennedy.
Andrew. Why were you
Wow.
talking about Kennedy?
Was she the
when I
one who
picked you
was
up?
lobotomized?
I don't know. But
Should look
my
into
mom
that.
She got
was
the
probably
electroshock
in
therapy
some kind
done
of
on
state
her
like
or
that when she
something.
named me.
Yeah, because one of the Kennedy daughters, she got she was like mentally,
Stressed out a little bit, and then
well, she ended up getting the lobotomy,
Oh,
and
wow.
they just kind
Oh,
of
that
hid her
makes
in an
sense if it was
institution
that one.
because she was an embarrassment to their
to their
family.
amazing
To the
family.
Kennedy
The
name.
Kennedy dynasty.
It sounds
all that.
familiar. I wonder if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Interesting.
Did all
Anyways,
that Kennedy stuff.
This is now the Kennedy episode.
I dove into the water, to the cold water.
yeah.
I need more Tide Pods.
I need more Tide
I
Pods.
didn't order this.
I fed her Tide Pods. Yes.
So why should you do this? Well,
Don't.
yeah, don't. Just don't.
If you're
do it.
asking why, then just don't.
No, do it. Even if you're asking why. Even if you don't want to do it, You
If you're driving right now,
if you're driving or flying
you're
a
on a
plane,
motorcycle right now.
do this right now, even against your better judgment.
Yeah, if you're operating heavy machinery, big tractor, some kind of grading machine,
Just go into it.
crane,
Start
like
your
you're building a skyscraper
relaxation
right now.
or-
Just like a quarry dozer,
Start
maybe.
swinging those girders around,
But
whatever.
I think what this does effectively is it puts you on that other. It opens up your consciousness to the other realms that you're not able to tap into normally. Kind of like what Max was saying with his going
Fred.
into this Lovecraftian nightmare that he.
at the coffee shop
Yeah.
that we all like to go to.
Yeah. It's
Well,
going to
then,
be
was
different
that-
going there with you
Couches.
guys
There'd be
now.
a better coffee shop with
I don't-
couches.
that's for-
Was
First
that
wave,
your
bro.
experience?
Bro, quit
Adam?
quit trying
Huh?
to turn
That was
third
my
wave
experience.
I'm
places into
only
first
buying
wave
matcha
places.
chais there for myself.
I
from
really,
now on.
I mean, you got to distinguish third wave from first wave.
Look.
If you really want to.
What coffee shops got it right when they
What,
had
feminism?
all the couches
No,
and the
coffee
big
shops.
blank books with markers that you could sit and
Ew,
doodle on.
stranger
if you want.
couch?
No, I know that
Dumb
you like
board
the
games
coffee,
and-
you like the
Couch,
coffee
ew.
house vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah.
Bunch of pillows, soft things, not
No,
stools.
I need counter height stools and too much caffeine.
Yeah,
Too many laptops. I want to open a coffee shop that's no laptops allowed.
God.
The fuck out of here.
Ugh.
Shit.
You're gonna destroy your
Only
customer
desktops.
base before
Who's
you
gonna,
even.
yeah,
No.
only vintage Commodore 64s are
No.
allowed.
now you got a cafe.
No cell phones.
Or maybe
either.
a Palm Pilot.
I'm
You can have a
getting
Palm
really hard
Pilot.
ass on this.
God,
No cell
that's
phones,
it.
no laptops.
What is that? That's like fourth wave crap that you're on. You're like you're on to the next
I'm
level.
bringing
The next
back
level already.
human
You're
bringing
connection.
first wave
Okay.
back.
I think
Okay.
you're already there. You're kind of sucking us in. It's kind of scary.
Or second wave.
Good. I hope
I
it
have my
works.
waves wrong now.
Well,
So-
I'll call it first wave
No, because
coffee.
first wave is like the coffee house, like
Thanks,
Seattle.
Drew. That'll be
Second wave is like Starbucks on every corner, and third wave is like trying to reinvent
Which
that
one?
in a more
Which wave are the lizards surfing on?
modern sense, postmodern sense.
I like where this is
lizards
going,
surfing
guys.
on one of the waves. Which one is it? I can't tell.
Was that it, Adam?
Huh?
Did you have anything else that you experienced with your? Because you didn't really go into your experience. We just started riffing on fucking coffee shops.
Whatever, man.
It was
This
my
is good
fault. I brought it
pod.
up.
I want to hear what happened to Adam.
Basically what I said is all of what happened. The only other details is that I did it several more times. I only did it once, like the book said, at the altar and everything like that. Why? I'm a busy man.
Yeah,
Had a lot going on.
with family and work. Podcast.
I'm actually in
musical
between housing
projects,
areas, you know.
moving.
Yeah, I'm kind of yeah. But so I decided to do it when I was in other places. And I don't know, I found it very effective at just centering myself. If I wasn't doing it by the book, then it was having some effect on me regardless. And for whatever reason, yeah, that's what magic is about.
Is this
You
like
pick and take
like
what
this
you-
might be one of those things like I mean, and once again, like I know I probably have asked this before, like when you use the wrong color candle or you don't follow these instructions, like I mean, is there some detriment there that we could possibly encounter? Like, is it like yeah, shooting your gun off in the air is super fun till
Yeah.
those bullets come sailing down and hit somebody, you know?
The thing is, though, with ritual magic, whether it is the case or not, it's written
Yeah.
and taught in such a way that it's like you must do everything according to this, and that's my issue with ritual magic. I guess I'm finding I have an issue with it because I feel like it's too ritual. It's too much focusing on that, and then it also is like basically gives you kind of like a god complex, I think, eventually. Whereas if you're working with nature in a more pagan sense with witchcraft, I feel like you're more.
Well, I feel like when you're doing chaos magic
Or chaos
more
magic,
or more things
yeah.
where you just have
more
to like
intuitive.
tune in with the randomness of the world around you and not feel like you're taking on this bigger role where you're the size of everything. Like I do have a little bit of a problem trying to find myself in the scope of that. Like I don't believe that I actually fit into a Like I don't see, it's hard for me to see myself in that way.
All right, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If there was one atom, ATOM,
Yeah, I am
missing from
picturing
your
it.
body,
Yeah.
what would have happened to you?
Well, okay. I mean, well, I don't know that because I don't know if once again, I feel like the nature of this existence that we're in is not necessarily tied to the rules that we are, like when we're talking about like, oh, the specific number of atoms in a body, like I'm not necessarily subscribed to
All right,
those
well,
being the rules.
Let's say it like this. Okay, let's say you didn't have a
cosmically speaking, you're saying, what if I had no physical form?
No, what I'm saying is that what this ritual I think did for me was it's a reminder that even though you're just a speck of dust on this tiny little planet in the middle of the big ocean of space, you're still a part of it, and nothing is bigger or smaller. It's just everything is made up
It's
of
all
parts.
a simulation.
Okay, yes. See, I feel more like when I do this, like that. I feel like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm just seeing that it's a simulation, like what you just said. Like, I don't know if I necessarily, and that's what I'm saying is like I don't know if I've tuned in to this feeling of cosmicness, that the cosmic greatness of it all is not something that I necessarily know if I'm 100% tuned into with this particular ritual.
But
I
with practice, I think you do tune into it.
I feel like that might be kind of the missing puzzle piece with this.
But what I was bringing up was actually not quite that, though. What I was just saying, all I was saying was that I feel like for some people, magic and this practice is more intuitive, and for those people, I think chaos magic is more their jam, and then this is a lot more structured. So it just depends, I think, on what works for you.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't realize that until we started doing it.
Well,
so it's always good to try.
I feel like I am in a simulation sometimes, and then certain kinds of magic maybe help me escape it sometimes. Like, I'll have dreams. I'll be waking up somewhere else. Am I really somewhere else?
Well, we're definitely all programmed. We program ourselves. The world programs us a certain way, and we do the same things the same way all the time. Keep making the same mistakes. Keep doing it. But by doing these things that kind of break us out of these patterns, we're able to see our actual potential, as a force of will. And I think that this, whether you're doing rigid ritual magic, you're gaining something because you're not as playful. And when you're doing the other kind of magic, you're tearing down the structure. And it's whatever you need at that time. Maybe your life is already, maybe you're responding to the rigidity negatively, or I'm just off.
No, I don't know. I don't know that I am necessarily doing that. I just am. It's just hard for me to connect to the visualizing out aspects of this. Like, do I get a sense of that? Like a feeling of that? Like,
you focus on the feeling. You're supposed to focus on the feeling if you can't see it, and then eventually you will be able to visualize it.
I've wondered sometimes, like, if things like going on a fast or going sober for a while, if that's not like kind of refusing to take part in that world, and so you become more yourself and in tune with where you are in the world.
Yeah, you're changing your habit.
You're not doing substances, and it's coming from a guy who loves to do substances, and drink beer and smoke.
I want beer.
Yeah.
Also,
it's like, and so,
ketamine.
Oh yeah, you
but
guys are drinking beer tonight.
Sometimes I do pry myself from all that, and I dream clearer.
Ketamine.
So that kind of goes to proving that we are in a simulation, because if you're not taking part in the simulation, you're just yourself, and you can see over the clouds.
Yeah, but don't go too far.
Don't come back. Come back. Well,
no one will.
Your mama might miss you.
Aw.
It's just how it is. It's life. You gotta have one foot keep one toe in the water. I don't think that's a
That's
real
a Jack
phrase
Handy
because
quote.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make
That was
any
a dang
sense.
That's just the
anecdote,
way
Adam.
life is. You got to keep one toe in the water.
Yeah.
Thank
Keep
you for
one.
listening to this week's episode of Let's Just Be Wizards. For next week, we'll have the fourth partner series, and we'll be done. And it's fucking hard looking, so it might take more than a week.
Plus, Mercury goes retrograde on the 26th.
It's always going.
22nd.
When is
What
it
is this
Mercury
not?
When
Like, I
is
feel like it's been
retrograding?
2
Whoa.
years
When is
and we've
my
been doing
dick not
Mercury
in
in
that trap?
retrograde. Like,
Don't get so aggro, bros.
Whatever,
Mercury goes
man.
retrograde 3 to 4 times per
you
year.
know what?
No, it's
Mercury
gotta
needs
be
to come
more
up.
than
Mercury
that,
needs to
right?
come down
And
here
it-
and get retrograde right to my face if it wants
Yeah.
me to.
We're in
yeah, like
we're in
Yeah.
the shadow of
why
Mercury
doesn't it just-
retrograde right now,
why
which
doesn't it
is
just
like the
come down
build
here?
up. So we're
Why
still
doesn't it just come down here then?
so we're
It's like,
starting
hey, Mercury, you
Why
lift,
do-
bro?
what's
feel
it, yeah, what's it
the
even?
effects right now.
What
of
it's
Mercury
yeah, and
retrograde.
it's just gonna do that from way over there. It's not even gonna
The
come
whole-
here like a man and
If you really understand
and
what
face-
Mercury
and face
retrograde is,
anyone
you see
with
that
this.
it's not life ending. It's just
do I look like I feel like this is life in it, dude? I do
Well,
not
why are you
care.
complaining about
I do
it,
not
then?
care. I do not give 2 shits about this.
Okay,
Just saying
so-
this retrograde, bro, is a pussy.
wow.
The astrological the information though. That's the
I am
clock.
not even mad
Yeah,
about
maybe
this.
some
Is that
people
like
wanna know
the dial or the
astrological
clock or the
information,
stars?
Drew.
We're made of stars, so it kind of affects us. I
No,
guess.
I don't know if that's the simulation
We are all made
program
of
you want to run.
stars. So please rate and review us on iTunes. Give us all the stars, all the good reviews,
All of them.
in Stitcher or on YouTube or something. We're on there too. Maybe we should take a video of ourselves sometime.
Yeah,
I don't know. Does that work for people like us?
I like that idea.
Let's do it in a
We're interesting
nondescript
looking people.
location.
We're
People
pretty,
should
we're
know
pretty
that.
cute, and I think people should know that.
Yeah, let's bank off that a little bit more. So if you want to email us something, you can do it at letsjustbewizards@gmail.com or hit us up on the Facebook. I think our response rating is pretty damn good, if you
It
ask
is.
me. And if you have a book or item you want reviewed on the show, as we've done before, for free right now, let us know, and we'll provide you with a physical address to send it to. And I think that's all we got. Join the Patreon.
Join the
You will get
Patreon.
something very special in the mail, let's just say, at certain levels. And then at other levels, you'll get
Even
also great
cooler
stuff.
things.
Even better stuff.
no, not
Pay
at the lower
less,
levels.
get
You
more.
get the. It's not how.
Oh, sorry.
Pay more,
Pay
get
more,
more.
get more.
Pay less, get less.
You get what you pay
You get
for.
some
so
real
pay
We got
more.
budget.
Caring shit.
All right,
Uh,
all right.
We got bargains.
We have the bargain level.
We're the bargain bin of podcasts.
If you're ready to, if you're
The
ready to,
level of
If
mediocrity.
if
Yeah.
you're
Care
ready to,
about you,
throw,
our
if you're ready to
fans.
throw us some cash, we're ready to make a deal.
And we care about you, our fans. We want you to enjoy this and
Yes,
and
thank you.
and read along.
Thank you for making our lives magical.
Thanks. A lot.
Okay, so that's it. Everybody have a great week and work on the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, the Kabbalistic cross. And when we come back, we'll see if we might need a week or two to do it, but we'll have the second installment of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram ready for you. So, and that will conclude the series. And we'll finally be able to shake our hands. What do you say?
Or wash our hands.
Wash
of
our
this
hands of this.
and get back to
Or
the old
you
format.
could just
Wash.
You could just keep going with it
That's true.
on
Yeah.
a personal level.
wash for 20 seconds
Oh,
or
yeah.
more, kids.
There's a lot of
okay?
this stuff that
Just buy this book. I'm not being paid by anyone. but
Everybody
you should buy
wash their
this book.
hands.
right.
Always. For all times.
I love you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I'm surprised at how much how good Banksy's movies are for how subpar his art is.
Really? For real? No, for real.
But
Like, why you mad just because he say what's true?